Hey, it's Lauren here. Merry Christmas. I am so excited to be here on Mixed Media Monday for the Hip Kit Club because it is Christmas Eve and you probably hopefully you have a glass of bubbles in your hands and spending time with family. But if I know lots of families work differently at this time of year, and if it's scrapbooking that you love and it makes your heart happy on Christmas Eve, I hope that you're sitting here scrapbooking away, and I'm popping in to share with you how I put my layout together, but also some tips to using mixed media on your scrapbooking projects. So here I am. I was challenged to do a Christmas layout, and I was also challenged to take part in the Mixed Media Monday. And it's a real opportunity where we really maximise what we get in our fabulous colour kits with the Hip Kit Club. Now, I have pulled to get in this layout, I've used some of the colour kit products from past months. So I think I've got some of October and November colours in here. The beautiful thing about all the colour kits, and if you've been collecting them a while, you'll know that they all work really well together. And after the end of 6 months or so, you're getting a really beautiful wide collection of colour kit products that are never the same. So we need to learn to mix it up, and this is what I've been doing here today. I've just been playing around and layering up colour and working it through. Now, the cardstock that it's just a standard cardstock out of the November kit. It's absolutely stunning, beautiful text on it. I often don't scrapbook with pattern paper as my background, so when I do, I really want to sort of wash it out with some mixed media there. So instead of using clear gesso, which is what I usually use on my white cardstock, I've picked up the white gesso and I've simply placed a layer down just to give it that strength and body to hold my wet product. And then I've used the Cremise products in, I think it's Turn the Tide and, Turn the Tide and Good Old Summertime, to use just a wet paintbrush and just move it around the page, adding bits of water here and there. And then I want to give my paper strength again because I know I'm going to come back on it with more colour, which you saw me spray the yellow mist in the Vibes collection there. So and I wanted to soften it as well, knowing that I had that cute little Holly Jolly cut file there in the soft pastels. I didn't want to sort of overpower the title by having a really, really punchy background. So I put another sort of light wash of the white gesso over the top, and then came in with my Vibes yellow spray and just sprayed a little bit here and there, and then did some flicks. And that really gave that lovely soft mixed media blended sort of background that I was after. Being Mixed Media Monday, I wanted to grab those gorgeous stencils by Heidi Swapp and incorporate that into my background as well. Deep down, I am feeling I've got text there. I've got 3 different colours of media product, and here I am adding large polka dots on my page. I was sort of thinking, I was just going mixed media nuts, but I really just wanted to show you what you can do when you add and apply different layers over and over and over again. Now, the other reason why I decided to use that really large polka dot in those stencils, those Heidi Swap stencils, was in the Holly Jolly font. It had those polka dots in there, and I really wanted to kind of incorporate that element that is in the cut file into my background, so it would sort of all come together in the end, which I'm really, really happy with how that background turned out. It's beautiful, and even up close there is a sort of a shimmer, and it's really hard to kind of capture that on video, but I encourage you just to play. Now, I know I remember it doesn't, well, it was a long time ago, but it doesn't feel a long time ago that I went off and I did my first mixed media class. I was lucky enough that my first mixed media class was with a lovely and very talented artist called Louise Nelson. And I remember I had two classes to choose from at a local retreat, and I read I read the descriptions, and I honestly could not tell them apart. I had no idea. I thought I was doing the same techniques in both class. And when I messaged Louise and said, "Look, hi, I'm Lauren. I'm new to mixed media, and I don't know what the difference is in between the classes." And Louise was so patient and kind and explained everything to me. And then after the class, she did confess that she was a little bit nervous about some of the questions that I was throwing at her. But I'm so glad she persevered with me, because she was sort of like my founding person that I could fall in love with mixed media and be. She taught me to be brave. She taught me to know no matter what, it would be fine, and it's more about the process and enjoying putting beautiful things together, or things that inspire you. So I was lucky. That's where my mixed media journey began. I was handheld by a talented lady, and that's when I went off and purchased my first few sprays and some, mixed media products that began this journey where I incorporate in 99% of my layouts have some form of mixed media product on them. So, but what I learnt was that with mixed media, adding those different elements, adding the texture paste, adding the watercolour, adding the acrylic paint, adding the gesso, all just form another layer of your scrapbooking. So when you're putting your watercolour down, you're thinking, oh, this is not looking what I had envisaged in my mind. It's not looking the way I wanted it, and I really am not happy. What I want you to do is just persevere and understand that it is just a layer on your layout. It's just a layout, as is that cardstock that you back your photo in, that you see me doing right now. I'm just ripping up bits of paper and I'm backing photos, and I'm just playing around. Mixed media is just the same as that. So I want you not to be frightened. I want you to have a go and just trust that it's just another layer, and your photos are going to cover over a lot of the elements, and it's just building depth into your scrapbooking projects. Now, I hope that makes sense, and I want you to ask me any questions. Leave questions in the comments, and I will get back to you. I want you to be brave, and I want you to just have fun. Remember, it is only paper, and if it doesn't work out and you're really not happy with it, you set it aside. Another great idea is to go and buy yourself just an art journal. It doesn't have to be an expensive one. Just go and pick up a cheap little art journal and play around with your mixed media products. Once you learn how they move and how they sort of flow with different elements, like the amount of water you use, you will begin to develop confidence around using them. So I encourage you to do that. So I had these great, gorgeous little photos of my daughter. She went off and had her Santa photo, and it's really interesting. You take a little bit of, I found I was taking a little bit of time to reflect on all the Santa photos that we'd had with her, and I do have that classic photo when she was a baby where she was screaming on Santa's lap, and I love that one just as much as I love the one that we took the other day. But watching my little girl grow up with in these moments is a really special thing. And this year she sat, and although the queue to talk with Santa and have photos with Santa was mammoth, she just sort of blanked that out, and she sat there and had a fabulous, fabulous little chat with Santa, told Santa what she wanted for Christmas. She also talked about wanting to cut her hair and donate it for children that are unwell and might like a wig that that might put a smile on their face when unfortunately they have lost their hair due to treatment or or a condition. So my little girl was happily sitting there chatting that about that milestone that's coming up. She's been growing her hair for her entire life to do that, and Santa just thought she was delightful. So I just let her sit there, and I was lucky enough just to pull my mobile phone out and capture photos of the moment and these sort of candid images, which I love more than the posed one. So I was lucky I had a couple of photos there, and I thought I'm going to document that and remember that special time. So this cute little cut file titled Holly Jolly is one of the free cut files from the Hip Kit Club Days of Giving, you know, celebration that we've got going on. I take my hat off to Kimberly and Kim, who design 99% of these cut files. I have no idea how they find the time to do what they do amongst the busyness of designing and getting kits out to us each month. But I'm so glad they do, because when they turn out super cute like this one, how can you not resist but putting this on a layout? That fun, funky, Christmassy font, it makes it feel like a candy cane right on your scrapbooking page. And I thought, unfortunately, my December kit has not arrived yet. It's probably caught up with all that Christmas post, and it's still flying across the ocean to me. So I've been really creative with the November kit. I have stretched it to the max when it comes to documenting Christmas, but it hasn't fallen short. And it coincidentally, my Christmas tree this year is full of light pinks and silver embellishments and ornaments. So it's sort of fitting that although I'm not working with the traditional greens and reds, it is these pinks and beautiful soft colours that are in the November kit have been perfect for me to start documenting Christmas this year. This is a 9 by 12 inch layout. I'm documenting my project life in 9 by 12, and each month I have a feature sort of couple of pages where I create a layout and feature a photo or a moment or a memory. And so this one's going to slip into my December pages in my Project Life album. And I'm just loving how it's coming together. I cut two of the cut file just in case when it came through it didn't cut properly. So I just snipped off another little holly leaf there and popped it up the top with backing behind the H. I had some of these gorgeous acetate pieces left over, and I thought I'm going to incorporate a few of those. My last layout for the Hip Kit Club, I used heaps of these acetate pieces, and I just love them. I just use a wet glue to adhere them. I use the Glossy Accents by Ranger as my wet adhesive, and it sticks really well. It does show through slightly, so if you're a little bit finicky about your adhesive shining through on the acetate pieces, this is not the product to use there, but I don't mind, especially when it's on mixed media and text. You tend not to be able to see it even when it's dry. So as you'll see at the photos at the end of the video, it'll all come together and you'll be able to see some close-up images of those pieces, so you can see whether that is a product that you might like to use. But I'm not fussy about it. I guess I have the joys in the journey and me putting layouts. Although I do want them to be lovely, I also want them to I just want to create, and that's how I roll. So I don't scrapbook every photo I take. I think I know that a lot of people love to scrapbook every photo they take and have beautiful, stunning albums, like huge amounts of albums every year. Unfortunately, I don't have time for that, and I'm not sure even if I had the time that would be something that I would enjoy. I love just documenting those standout photos or those standout moments in my life, and I think scrapbooking evolves, like it evolves with you, and I think at this time I just like to scrapbook just those few little elements. Project Life is probably the most photos I've ever printed in my entire in 1 year in my scrapbooking time, and I've really tried to sort of cull that back because I really want to create in that process as well. That Christmas didn't quite fit just across there, but I did want it tucked up in and under that jolly because I really wanted to create add to that dimension again. But even though you don't really see the S at the end, you definitely know it says Holly Jolly Christmas just by having those pieces there. I just love that cute little puffy gold alpha set. I would use that on every layout. It's really tricky, isn't it? You get these gorgeous kits, and before you know it, the next one's on your doorstep. Except in December when it's still stuck in airline traffic, I guess. But usually before you know it, you've got the next kit on your doorstep and you're diving into that and you're falling in love with new products again. So this kit has just sort of blown me away, and I just love every little bit of it. Those cardstock stickers by Heidi Swap, that's in the new from the new Emerson Lane collection, had a gorgeous set of just tabs on the back of the sticker sheet, and which are perfect for journaling. And I knew that I wanted to journal just a little bit more, but because I'd used that texture paste, which was the Faber-Castell whip spackle, I knew that I would be journaling on bump. So I just laid up a couple of those. That gave me enough room just to write what I wanted to write and document there. And it came together really well just by layering those two up. The beautiful thing is you could layer up any of those and it will all coordinate really well with this November kit. The whole kit is with the exclusive products designed by Kim Watson it's just come together beautifully. So there you have it. There's the layout. I hope you've enjoyed it. Once again, any questions on mixed media stuff, I definitely am not an expert, but I've been playing around with it for a few years, so may be able to give you some tips and tricks if you've got any questions on any particular products. Have a wonderful, safe and happy Christmas. Take care, guys. Bye.